Welcome to the Pastimes of Ramananda Raya. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, Chapter 8, which was published in 1975, there are full descriptions of the meeting between Ramananda Raya and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada came to the West in 1965, his health was failing, and he felt an urgency to publish books about Krishna. By 1968, he had published the Bhagavad Gita, but he also wanted to present the sublime life and teachings of the Transcendental Personality Lord Chaitanya to the Western world. He had not yet begun translation of the multi-volume biography, Chaitanya Charitamrita, but in that same year of 1968, he published the remarkable teachings of Lord Chaitanya, with the hope that thoughtful people everywhere will take advantage of the priceless knowledge found in this book. There are 32 chapters, and the final 6 chapters are devoted to an extraordinary conversation that took place between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Raya, and it is called the Ramananda Samvag. Ramananda Raya was 20 years older than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the governor of East and West Godavari and a minister in the court of the famous king Prataparudra. Not only was Ramananda Raya a great statesman of that time, but he was also a Sanskrit scholar, a poet, a musician, a singer, a dancer, and he wrote plays about Krishna. 2 years after Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas, he was about to set out on a walking tour of South India when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested him to meet with Ramananda Raya when he arrived in the town of Vijayanagara on the bank of the Godavari. When Lord Chaitanya reached that great river, he walked a little distance from the bathing place and sat down and began chanting the holy name of Krishna. At that time, accompanied by the sounds of music, Ramananda Raya came there mounted on a palanquin. Accompanied by many Brahmins, he took his bath. Sri Chaitanya could understand here was Ramananda Raya. The Lord wanted to meet him, and although his mind ran towards Ramananda Raya, he patiently remained sitting. When Ramananda Raya saw the sannyas, he saw Lord Chaitanya as brilliant as 100 suns. The Lord was covered by a saffron garment. His body was strongly built, and his eyes were like lotus petals. Ramananda Raya was struck with wonder and fell down like a rod, offering his obeisances. The Lord stood up and asked Ramananda Raya to arise and chant the holy name of Krishna. Afterwards, when Lord Chaitanya inquired, "Are you Ramananda Raya?" he humbly responded, "Yes, I am your very low servant, and I belong to the Sudra community." The Lord embraced him firmly, and indeed both the master and the servant became almost unconscious. After sitting down together, Lord Chaitanya said, "Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has asked me to meet with you." Ramananda Raya replied, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am only a government servant interested in materialistic activities." But at this moment a Brahmin Vaishnava came there and invited Lord Chaitanya for lunch, and so the Lord arranged to meet Ramananda Raya again later in the day. That evening, after finishing bathing in the river, Sri Chaitanya sat down and waited for Ramananda to arrive. Soon he came there to meet the Lord and immediately offered his obeisances. Thus, in a secluded place, they both began to discuss Krishna. The Lord himself inquired from Ramananda, "Please quote some verses from Scripture about the ultimate goal of life for the human being." Ramananda Roy began with describing the Varnashram Dharma, but after each verse he quoted, the Lord would request him to go still further, saying, "Tell me if you know of something beyond this." Thus they passed the night in deep discussions until finally Ramananda Roy described the confidential transcendental love between Radha Govinda. Ramananda Roy spoke with humility, "I do not know anything, but whatever you are causing me to say, I am saying. I know you are Krishna himself, but still you are relishing hearing about Krishna from me. Therefore, please excuse my faulty expression. I am just trying to express whatever you are causing me to say." At this point, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his form as Radharani and Krishna combined, and Ramananda Roy fell unconscious in transcendental bliss. Other than Ramananda Roy, nobody had ever seen that form. In the morning, they arranged to meet again for further discussions. That evening, the Lord asked Ramananda Roy many questions. Here are but 5 of those questions and answers. Question: of all types of education, which is the most important? Answer: no education is more important than hearing about the transcendental devotional service to Krishna. Question: what is the greatest well-being for a living entity? Answer: the association of Krishna's devotees. Question: what is the only thing to remember? Answer: Krishna's name, beauty, and qualities. Question: what is the only object of meditation? Answer: the lotus feet of Radha Govinda. What are the characteristics of a knowledgeable person and a devotee? Answer: a so-called intelligent person is like a crow who sucks the juice from the bitter fruits of the neem tree of knowledge, whereas the devotee is like a cuckoo who eats the buds of the mango tree of love for Krishna. These wonderful discourses continued for 10 nights, and at the end, Lord Chaitanya advised Ramananda Roy to resign from his government post and go to Jagannath Puri. We can remain together at Jagannath Puri and pass our time in discussing Krishna. Ramananda Roy did so, and in the Lord's final pastimes for about 12 years, Krishnadas Kaviraj describes that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt intense pains of separation from Krishna, only Ramananda Roy's talks about Krishna and Svarup Damodar's sweet songs would revive him. Ramananda Roy left this world after the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namaste.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.